Guess you followed me. It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
That I might have heard about.
Yeah.
Truly, it's like kind of a marvel how much is packed into this. And I wondered, I mean, were you sold on concept alone, or as you're reading through the script, was there a specific scene or twist or something that sold you on it? Like what really convinced you to take the role?
For me, it was sort of like I loved the idea in general. And then when I started reading it, I loved how they were starting it deeper into the typical time loop movie. Felt like it was sort of rewarding us all for having watched so many time loop things, which, you know, is generally the stuff I like to be involved with, is sort of deconstructing or calling out or rewarding people for their knowledge of having watched a million things, because that's how I am. Trying not to bore people as much as possible. So that was really exciting to me. And then it just kept hitting these really funny moments, you know, like Nyles gets hit with the arrow, not expecting that. You know, the flashbacks of all of his sexual exploits really made me laugh. You know, the amount that Sarah is like going right at him, and the whole dynamic there, it all just kind of worked to me.
I felt like I'd never read anything like it. You know, obviously, like the time loop mechanism is like something we revisit over and over, no pun intended. But I do think that like I felt like I'd never read something that was that dark and weird and funny and moving, all in like the same sort of story. And also, I was just excited to play like a full human being.
Yeah.
And you get to see like the whole spectrum of her.
The second you fall asleep, it all just goes back to the start.
I drove all the way back home to Austin, and I still woke up here.
One time I smoked a bunch of crystal and made it all the way to Equatorial Guinea. It was a huge waste of time.
As I was watching this, I had the moment where I did the June Squibb squeal, which is where you squeal when June Squibb walks on screen. But then we also get Dale Dickey, Peter Gallagher, and of course, J.K. Simmons, like a lot of iconic character actors in this that I was very happy to see. And I wondered if we learned any important lessons from working on set with these icons.
June Squibb, we shot that scene, our exchanges was shot at 5 a.m. on like 30-degree, in like a 30-degree desert night. And it was like weirdly damp, so it was like extra bone chilling. And she just like rolled up and she was like, all right, we ready to go? Like just knew, just like was so such a G. Like she just was so professional, obviously, but like, I mean, I don't know, she just nailed it. And then we had a car ride home together, and it was like one of the most joyous car rides of my life.
She's incredible.
Yeah, she's incredible. We talked all about theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truly an icon. And Andy, I mean, like, you've worked with J.K. Simmons a few times. He's played your dad before, right?
Love you, man. And he was on last season of Brooklyn as well. Although that we shot that after Palm Springs, and Dan Gore, who runs Brooklyn, saw Palm Springs and was like, we should get JK on the show. I was like, yeah.
Want to dance? You know the officiant? He's got a bag of sweets in his pocket.
You were right. Got him.
I think there's a lot of deep resonance with this movie right now because we're all kind of stuck in quarantine and living the same day over and over. What's the big lesson we should take from this? What's going to help us kind of get through the rest of quarantine that we can learn from this movie?
Even before the quarantine, one of the things that excited me so much about this story was that I think it was about like how hard we try to escape ourselves and how you can't. That at the end of the day, you only have you're yourself. You can't escape you, and how important it is to like face your shit. And I think that that's like very magnified for everyone right now.
Yeah, even if you're stuck in what feels like a loop, there's still opportunities to grow and change and learn and love.
What's the point of living?
We kind of have no choice but to live.
No, I'm gonna get out of this.
Suit yourself. See you tomorrow.